Hey everybody, welcome back to an episode of The Elite, the Elite Count. I'm War Machine MJ.
With Rodimus Prime.
And we are the 3-Count Mafia.
Yep.
And we're here today to talk about AEW Dynamite from the Rockin' Rager. You put Miami.
I sure did.
They were in Nassau, Bahamas.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were in the Bahamas.
They were in the Bahamas, my bad.
Because they were on the Rockin' Rager.
Yeah.
I think they said it was taped Tuesday.
Yeah. And I heard they had some people get the tapes so they could air it as of this recording. Which made sense.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, I'm looking forward to... Usually I really don't care about the ratings between the two shows nowadays.
Yeah.
But I'm looking to see how the ratings go this time, given that Dynamite was taped and people had access to spoilers the night prior when NXT is live.
Yeah. I think the ratings will be... they'll be very interesting. Depending on how the shows go and everything like that. You know, they count like DVR and demos and all that type of stuff. Yeah. But we'll see how the numbers come out.
Before we jump into this, it was announced that on the Rockin' Rager Part 3, they're going to be doing a live episode of Dynamite. No taped, live on a Wednesday night. Or whatever night they're on at that point in time.
I think he announced where it's going to be February 1st through the 5th, 2021. Yeah. Whatever day it is, I think it's in February, early February.
My question is, why would you have a... You know what? Never mind. I was about to say, why would you have a cruise in the coldest part of the year? But then I remembered, they go to warmer places.
Right.
Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. I've never been on a cruise.
I've never been on one either.
I don't necessarily like the idea of a cruise, because you're stuck in the middle of the ocean on a boat filled with people you're probably not going to like.
Yeah, and there's a danger. There's a very big possibility that if something happens, you could fall off the boat. And if you can't swim, unfortunately, you're going to die.
Well, not just that. It's also, if you can swim up to a certain point where your strength just kind of craps out.
Yeah.
There's also the possibility of the boat just getting dead in the water.
Yeah. So that's why I'd be afraid to really go on a cruise. And, you're around all that water. You're around, like you said, people you don't know and don't like, unless it's somebody you bring with you or whatever the case may be. That's why I'd rather stay inside.
My class are planning for our 10-year reunion, if I can get my words together. They're planning on it on a cruise. I don't know how I feel about that.
I was just gonna ask, are you gonna go?
I don't know, because that's a free vacation right there. Well, depending on how much they ask me to contribute. And B, I don't know. It's a cruise. I've already stated why I don't like them.
Yeah, you have your pros and cons with cruises, so.
I'll see where that shakes out. Anyway, we kicked off AEW from the Rockin' Rager with World Tag Team Championship match as SCU's Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky took on Kenny Omega and the guy that thought it was a booze cruise, Hangman Page.
Yeah.
His lower thirds are killing me.
Excuse me, Hangman Page and Kenny Omega, they've had this, I guess you can say, up and down relationship since being a tag team. And SCU, they're already an established tag team, so we don't need to talk much about them. This turned out to be a pretty decent match.
Yeah, both teams went out there and they absolutely killed it.
Yeah, there was some miscommunication during the match where Hangman was going for a butt shot lariat, but ended up hitting his partner, one Kenny Omega, and flipping him like a pancake.
Yeah, after Kazarian ducked out the way.
Yeah.
In the end, however, Hangman Page hit a buckshot lariat on Scorpio Sky on the outside, flipped back in, hit a buckshot on Frankie Kazarian, and he got the victory.
And Kenny Omega and Hangman Page are your brand new, let us repeat, your brand new AEW World Tag Team Champions.
Honestly, I thought this was where the split was going to come in.
Yeah. I even called it, but evidently I fell short and I was wrong.
I thought Kenny was going to lose, and that was going to cause them to, implode.
Yeah. As for Hangman, he decided to go for a crowd surf.
Well, after he had some beer.
Yeah, and the Bucks came out to celebrate with them, more like Kenny, and Kenny's just looking at Hangman like, "What's going on? What are you doing? What are you doing?" So yeah, Hangman and Kenny Omega, or as Jim Cornette calls him, Kenny Olivier.
Who cares about Jim Cornette? He just needs to chill out.
Yeah, they are the new tag team champions.
Later on in the show, Tony Schiavone got an interview with the new tag team champions, which Schiavone was a bit unprofessional because he cut Hangman off mid-sentence to talk to Kenny.
Yeah.
Kenny got his piece in. Schiavone passed the mic over to Hangman. In the middle of Hangman's sentence, Schiavone passed it back over to Kenny. At that point, the Bucks came in, started celebrating with them. Hangman said, "Screw this, I don't need this, I'm out of here."
You know, honestly, I like this, but at the same time, it was way too much going on because it's like Tony Schiavone was trying to interview Kenny. Well, mostly Kenny. He somewhat talked to Hangman. Then the Bucks came in. They were trying to say something. Kenny was trying to say something. It was just way too much going on. Way too. I'm like, okay, who's trying to say what? What are y'all talking about?
Yeah.
What are y'all doing?
But the main meat and potatoes of this interview was Kenny Omega finally respond to Pac's challenge. He's been granted a rematch at a later date, but for now, Kenny's going to focus on defending those AEW Tag Team Championships.
Yes.
I say Pac is going to cost him at least a match.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if that turn from Hangman came right then and there.
Yeah.
So we move on to women's action as Priscilla Kelly took on Dr. Britt Baker, DMD.
Priscilla Kelly's fine, though.
She is. I will give her that.
But this match was...
Britt Baker is too.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. She is fine. She is somebody's baby, after all.
Mm.
But
Facts.
this match was on the sloppy side.
There was one point where I don't think you were paying attention to it, where Britt did a sling blade and she really didn't connect with it.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention for that one.
And it just looked terrible.
During the picture-in-picture towards the start of the match, Priscilla hit an arm drag, but it looked like she didn't have enough momentum to throw Britt Baker.
Yeah, like she just really didn't connect with it for real.
Well, no, she connected with it. It's just she didn't get Britt up and over.
Yeah.
And then there was a drop kick spot where Priscilla didn't even look like she touched...
Britt Baker.
Yeah. Looked like that one whiff bro kick from Sheamus where it was that much daylight.
Wait, who did he do that to?
It was Mark Henry.
Oh, yeah, I remember it now. Wasn't it on Raw? What was it, Raw or SmackDown?
I think it was SmackDown. But
Like, it was... Mark Henry was here, Sheamus' foot was here, and Mark Henry just sold it like it was nothing.
yeah, he just flopped backwards. There was like this much daylight.
Yeah.
Which was relevant to this match because that drop kick had this much daylight from Britt Baker's face.
Anyway, Britt Baker won with the lockjaw, and then this is where it jumped the shark from here.
Yeah, because
oh my god.
Tony Schiavone went down ringside to interview the good doctor. Well, she's not good anymore. She laid into him, called him a shitty... Said that he used to be a shitty barista at Starbucks before he came to AEW.
Now, Tony Schiavone did say after WCW closed, he did used to work at a Starbucks. So that is fact.
Yeah, that's kind of sad, but okay.
I mean, he's got to do something.
I mean, I get that, but you go from being one of the best commentators of all time to working at Starbucks.
Yeah, now he's calling stuff for Georgia Bulldogs.
And AEW. So.
Yeah. But anyway, this really fell off the rails because she got on the mic.
And she cut a Charlotte-style promo.
And like I asked this guy, which one would you rather tolerate? Charlotte Flair talking about herself for 10 minutes about me, or Britt Baker shoving the fact that she's a real-life dentist down your throat and saying, hey, I'm the prettiest one here. Look at me.
I'm used to Charlotte going on those rants because that's pretty much her character.
Yeah.
Look at all the shit I've done. Look at all the shit my dad's done.
Yeah, this was just terrible. I mean, the crowd booed, and it was like JR. Now, I will commend Jim Ross for this. His commentary as of late, excuse me, has been kind of on the fence a little bit. But he was like, okay, we've had enough. Let's go to commercial. Cut this stuff off. Because she, not to cut you off, but she just kept going on like, oh, look at me. I'm so pretty. I'm a dentist. Blah, blah, blah.
I'm the prettiest girl on the boat.
Like, I'm just like, this is trash. If this is your way of being the face of the women's division, then AEW, you have done a really piss poor job thus far because your women's division is trash. Not to disrespect the women of and all, but your women's division is trash. Let's just keep it real.
Well, to be honest, they really don't have a face. Because somebody asked Kenny Omega on Twitter if he had anybody in mind, and he said still working on it.
I saw that, but my thing is this. I get what Kenny is saying, but think of all the promo that AEW did before Dynamite was even a thing.
Yeah.
How much press when they were doing, who was there besides Nyla Rose? Britt Baker.
Britt Baker, yeah.
So it was Nyla Rose and Britt Baker. Now, granted, like I said, I get what Kenny is saying because the women's division, just like the tag team division, still trying to get their feet wet. But her matches have not been good. Except when she faced Rio for the championship. Yeah. That was, 3 months ago? Somewhere around there?
Was it at Full Gear, or was that?
No, that was before Full Gear.
Oh. What match are you thinking of?
It was on Dynamite. Because Riho faced Emi Sakura for the championship.
Oh.
At Full Gear.
Okay, yeah, all right. Now I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that was an all right match.
Yeah.
Well, it was the better of all Britt Baker's matches.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you really want to face for AEW's women's roster, go with Chris Statlander.
I was just going to say that.
She's crazy over.
I was just finna say that.
Like, she's question mark over.
True.
And question mark is over. He just pops up and everybody loves it.
Question mark. I grew to be a fan of his from day one.
Oh, from those stupid promos, it was great.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, they cut Britt Baker off mid promo for a commercial, which you might praise them for that. I think they kind of found their promo was running on a bit too long and she was droning.
I felt like that was part of the plan, and they just had to go to commercial. So I felt like that was kind of, okay, let's have her do this, and then we'll just cut her off and go straight to commercial.
It was a bit sloppy from a production standpoint.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And that gif I saw on Twitter where she was calling Tony Schiavone a shitty barista, and he was just like, what the fuck? He just looked in the camera and said, what the fuck? Wow.
Now, I love the fans throughout this whole thing because they were just crazy.
They were hot throughout the whole show.
They were chanting a lot of stuff that got them censored.
Yeah.
So that's why you heard pauses in the sound.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it. It was great. But speaking of hot, next we had Chris Jericho teaming with Deadass and the best, as they took on
a baby, a boy, and their dinosaur known as Jurassic Express, not Jurassic Park.
There you go. I think somebody tried to call them Jurassic Cruise one time, I think.
Huh?
Like they botched the name.
Oh, okay.
And they wound up calling them something different.
Jurassic Cruise. Wow. Yeah. A boat full of dinosaurs.
Yeah.
There you go.
A baby, a boy, and their boat full of dinosaurs.
They need to ask Noah to borrow his ark.
No, man, they need to make that thing out of steel.
Yeah.
Or whatever boats are being made out of these days. Wood, that's not going to cut it.
Yeah.
Anyway, this was a fun enough match, especially Marco Stunt taking 5 minutes to get out of a kitty life preserver.
Whose child is that? Seriously, especially when he got in the ring and the referee told him, "You're not the legal person." He was like, "What? I'm not the legal person?"
I'm legal.
He was like, "No, you're not. You're not legal. Get back outside the ring."
He's small for any age.
Jesus.
Yeah, this was a fun enough match. Towards the finish, however, Luchasaurus tagged himself out with Marco Stunt, and he and Jake Hager, almost called him Jack Swagger, Jake Hager were trading blows up the entryway.
Wait, I missed Jake Hager.
Yeah, Jake Hager, he popped out at ringside.
Oh.
Like he came out there with Le Champion.
Oh yeah, sure did. Sure did.
Yeah, he was still rocking that dad polo.
Oh my god.
Um, yeah, and he still cuts better promos than Brock Lesnar.
True.
Look, it's a goat. I called it Chris Jericho.
Jake Hager. Or last week after they poked Moxley in the eye, arg.
Arg. Jake Hager's fun. When he's not making an ass out of himself on Twitter.
That is true.
At least I can forgive that more than Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Because Jake Hager just made himself look like an idiot instead of, hey, look at my wallet.
Yeah.
Because he was arguing with that Greta girl.
Greta girl?
That Norwegian girl that's all about climate change and all that. Every time you see her face on Twitter or whatever, she's always angry.
Oh, I probably don't pay attention to her.
Yeah. Well, basically, she's one of these climate people.
The overhype of climate change type person.
And global warming and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's some like 9 or 11-year-old girl.
Okay, question. Why is he arguing with an 11-year-old girl?
That is a good question.
How old is he?
That is a good question. I don't know how old he is.
Why would he dare argue with an 11-year-old girl on Twitter?
I don't know. Why would Seth Rollins dig himself into a hole?
I don't know.
Actually, let's go with someone a bit more relevant. I don't know. Why would Tessa Blanchard continue to dig a hole for herself?
You know what? That's another conversation for another day.
He's right. Let's go back to the ending to this match where Jericho puts away a kid and not get arrested for beating down a kid.
Yeah, he finished Marco Stunt off with the Judas effect. And 1, 2, 3. Jericho, the best, and Deadass, Santana Ortiz won the match.
It sounds like you were trying to make a sentence.
I was.
Jericho, the best, Deadass.
I was.
There you go. That's your sentence. Jericho, the best, Deadass. That's the team name, too.
That's what?
That's the team name between these three.
Yeah.
Jericho, the best, Deadass.
Oh my god. Let's move on to the next match.
Next, we had Orange Man MJF taking on Post Malone.
Yeah.
He looked like Post Malone. Like, he had the sunglasses, he had the braid. Joey Janela, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, he paid his...
Well, at least he didn't have tattoos under his eyes.
Yeah.
At least he didn't have tattoos on his face.
Post Malone looks like Shia LaBeouf if he became a drug dealer.
Who likes Post Malone anyway? The only time I liked Post Malone is when he had that song, White Iverson.
I don't know. I don't listen to Post Malone.
Oh, I'm just saying, when he came out. Other than that, I don't give a fuck about Post Malone.
But, yeah, Joey Janela paid his respects to Jesus at ringside.
Yeah.
There was a dude dressed as Jesus Christ again.
Yeah.
Anyway, this was an alright match. Of course, MJF selling the absolute shit out of everything.
Oh my god. What was that? What was that spot? He really oversold it.
Yeah, I know the spot you're talking about. It's just not ringing a bell right now.
I think, no, it was a suplex. Because
yeah.
Janela had him for a suplex.
It was a top rope suplex.
And MJF just flipped over and did all of this. And
he flopped.
Just like, bruh.
Yeah, like last week when DDP rammed his head into a turnbuckle post and he just like oversold it.
Or when he got hit with that destroyer and he started...
That was great. I love that one.
And that was a gif on Twitter and I just died laughing. Because then the closing seconds where they kept showing it fast.
Yeah.
And MJF retweeted and said, delete this. But yeah. Or at least he didn't do like that dude trying to punch Dustin Runnels. But anyway,
towards the finish, Joey Janela was distracted by super bad Kip Sabian making out with the bad girl, Penelope Ford.
Yeah, and that distraction caused MJF to get the victory, as they called it, with the double cross. It's his version of the Crossroads.
Yeah, that's what they call it, because it's a crappy looking Crossroads.
At least this actually looked better than what he did last time.
Yeah, it looked a bit more polished up.
Yeah. But anyway, he got on the mic. He called out Cody, who we will face at Revolution. And being that Cody can't touch him, he can still have his match.
Yeah.
So he said, you want to say something? Here, say something.
And then when Cody went to pick up the mic, MJF just kicked it.
Yeah.
And then Cody went over, finally picked up the mic. MJF had left the ring, giving him the two-gun salute. And Cody said, you're right. I can't touch you. Not if I want this match against Revolution. And in the background, you clearly see the Young Bucks come out and take position. He said, but they can touch you.
Yeah, and they super kicked MJF. He didn't do as much selling as he did with that suplex. They later took him through the crowd, and Cody was like, do y'all want to see MJF get in the pool? And so they just tossed him in the pool, and the crowd started chanting, you can't swim. You can't swim.
Okay, let me ask you this. Does it annoy you when somebody throws a super kick and they call it sweet chin music?
Yes.
I'm starting to find that annoying because when the Bucks hit double super kicks, JR called it sweet chin music.
Or when they hit a super kick and they call it a thrust kick, even though it is a thrust kick.
Oh, I can deal with that. That's technical jargon.
Yeah.
Like, that's technically what's called.
Yeah.
But Michael Cole called sweet chin music when Dolph Ziggler hit Roman this past week. So that's starting to annoy me.
Or like or another thing that annoys me with WWE, for example, when somebody does a splash and they say it's a stinger splash.
Yeah, it's mostly WWE. Other
Yeah.
people call it a corner splash.
Yeah. Anytime somebody does a splash in the corner, they instantly say stinger splash.
Now, I know people would give us flack for that and say, oh, it's the same thing. Yes, it's the same thing. But you call it that move when that person does it. Shawn Michaels does sweet chin music. It's a sweet chin music. I'm sorry, he does a super kick. It's a sweet chin music. Young Bucks do a super kick. It's super kick.
Yes.
Or super kick party for their vernacular.
Yeah.
Somebody does a corner splash. Corner splash. Sting does a corner splash.
Stinger splash.
Bingo.
So I get what you're saying. It's really annoying.
Yeah. Next, a couple of matches were made for next week in, what'd they say they were going to be?
Cleveland.
Cleveland, Ohio. Okay. It's going to be Private Party and Darby Allin. That's a killer team right there. Taking on Jericho, the best dead ass.
Jericho, Santana, and Ortiz.
Next will be Cody with Arn Anderson in his corner, taking on Kip Sabian, super bad. And of course, he's got the super bad girl, Penelope Ford, in his corner.
That girl is super fine.
Well, she's so bad.
Facts.
And finally, the Young Bucks will be taking on the Butcher and the Blade. I should say the Young Bucks will beat the Butcher and the Blade.
Yeah. Or as they said, the Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny. And I was like, is this a 3-on-2? Because I could have sworn Excalibur said that.
I think it rolls off the tongue easy. That's why they say it like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, then there was also announced a segment with the number one contender for the AEW Championship, whether it be Pox. There we go. That's
Pox.
the team name.
There you go. Pox.
PAX.
Wow.
Pac or John Moxley, which was the main event. Of course, Pac, who on the AEW YouTube channel cut the best line of the year so far. I'm like a honey badger, mate, and I'll gnaw your bastard face off.
That sounds pretty good.
Line of the year. Anyway, yeah, he took on John Mox, who is still wearing the wounds of last week's war. You know, he's got the bandage, and of course he's got the eye patch.
Yeah, and of course Jericho was on commentary.
Le Champion.
Yeah.
Filling in for Tony Schiavone. I forget, who was he calling Mumble Mouth?
I think it was either Schiavone or Excalibur.
Schiavone wasn't there.
So it might have been Excalibur.
It was either Excalibur or JR.
I don't think he would call JR that.
I
I think he's got way too much respect for that dude.
Even in character, I feel like that's way too far.
Yeah.
Because that's like when WWE made fun of his Parkinson's. Or I should say Vince. No, he doesn't have Parkinson's. What was it they had?
Bell's palsy.
Bell palsy, thank you. Yeah, like when Vince made fun of his Bell palsy.
Yeah, now that was classless.
That was downright
That was
disrespectful.
straight up classless.
No, Parkinson's is the wrong thing. Because Ozzy Osbourne just revealed he's got Parkinson's.
I saw that.
Yeah, that's kind of sad.
Yeah, and his wife slash manager Sharon said he had to have surgery in his neck and stuff like that. So yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. But back to Pac and John Moxley. Tried not to call him Pax again.
Pax.
Yeah, this was a killer match.
This was, I mean, of course, Moxley was gonna have his eye examined, no pun intended. Pac was gonna work on his eye.
I thought you were about to say you're going to have his eye on the AEW championship.
Well, that was a good one too. But no, yeah, of course, Pac was gonna target the eye.
Oh, yeah, he did a lot of nasty stuff. He even did a jawbreaker to the eye.
Yeah. And Moxley, he did the best he could with that one eye, but he got the job done with the paradigm shift. So at Revolution, it will be John Moxley taking on Chris Jericho for the AEW World Title.
What, is that a Revolution?
More than likely, it'll be.
Because they've got a solid month between now and Revolution.
Because I think they said it's going to be at Revolution.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, though.
Yeah, they have a solid month.
What's today? The 22nd? They got a month and 7 days.
Yeah, see? They have a solid month, so they've got to find some way to keep this going.
Yeah. It's been good so far.
Oh, it's been good. I can't complain about that. It's just... WWE does a nasty habit of this, of long booking for something like this, and it falls apart.
Well, it depends on who it is.
They...
Because for the most part, I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with what you said, for the most part. But it depends on who it is and how invested people are in the story.
I was going to say, they have a 4 to 10 success rate. Because remember Randy Orton and the Wyatt family?
Yeah.
That fell apart the week after Orton burned the Wyatt compound down.
And they had that crap-ass match at WrestleMania.
Uh-huh.
With all that stuff, with the graphics and stuff in the ring.
Uh-huh.
Let's see another one. Ambrose and Rollins after the heel turn.
Yep. Styles and Orton. Well, no, that was killer all the way up until their match. Their match ended. Well, their match was meh because AJ got hurt. AJ Samoa Joe.
Yeah. AJ and Shinsuke. How everybody was so hype about their match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, most of AJ Styles' title run was blah.
It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't bad, but it was just like every feud fell apart.
Yeah. And like with the rivalry with Shinsuke, all they did was hit each other in the nuts.
Yeah, and
that was basically the centerpiece of that rivalry. Who could hit who in the nuts?
And you think AJ would have won a cup.
So yeah. I get your point, but again, in some aspects it depends on who it is and how invested people are in the story.
Yeah, but I've got confidence that that Kenny and the Bucks won't disappoint.
No,
that they'll find some way to keep it fresh and relevant in everybody's mind.
Yeah,
even if they have to shoehorn Sammy Guevara and everything.
Why? So he can do this.
Yeah, say what you will about Sammy Guevara. He's actually putting in the work.
I'm not saying he's not a bad worker. He, for as young as he is, he can throw out some good matches.
I mean, he's been, even though he's been getting, crapped on in story.
Yeah.
He's still going out there and putting on bangers.
I agree.
So yeah. Maybe he'll be wrestler of 2020.
We'll see.
Yeah, we still got to do our awards.
Yeah.
But we got so much to do tonight. We'll push that off for another week.
Yeah.
Anyway, that being said, that is AEW from the Rockin' Rager Part 2.
Yeah, they will be in Cleveland next week, and then February 5th, they'll be in Huntsville.
The first show in Alabama, and all three of us are going to go.
Yes.
We're going to do a special episode of 3 Count and Elite Count from our hotel room in Huntsville.
Yes.
So that being said, I'm War Machine MJ,
And I'm Rodimus Prime.
who has a podcast, minus his ugly face, on the Castbox app with Prime Talk, Rodimus Prime.
Yeah, episode 24 coming soon.
And we will see you guys next time.
How?